The Civil War, 1861 through 1865, which was over 145 years ago. Here we have a Union soldier to the left and a Confederate soldier to the right. It's a cartoon, of course. The Civil War was also known as the bloodiest 4 years in American history. In this picture you can see 2 Confederate hats and 2 Union hats. The colors might get confusing, but the Union's colors were blue and a light sky blue, and the Confederates' colors were gray and sometimes black. This is a Confederate flag. This is a standard Confederate uniform. Sometimes Confederates were forced to wear clothing that looked like this uniform but was either made of a harder material, which was very uncomfortable, or a thin material, which they got cold. Here we have Stonewall Jackson, a Confederate general, as a young boy in his early 20s. And here he is in the middle of the war. He was shot by his own troops on accident. This is a Union uniform. They mostly had uniforms for all their troops. This picture indicates different forms of Union uniforms. There were winter overcoats, which corporals usually wore, the standard uniform, and a fully dressed captain known as a general. This is a Union flag. Here is Ulysses S. Grant during the Civil War, and here he is after the war. He was a Union general. Grant was important to the war because he was the commander of the Union Army towards the end of the war. Here is a cannon, which could usually shoot further than a football field. Here are some Union soldiers taking a rest in a field, as you can see. And here are some dead Union soldiers. It wasn't a shocker to see Union soldiers laying around, because the Union casualties, which means kills or wounded soldiers, was much, much higher than the Confederates' casualties. And last but not least, the last person to ever live from the Civil War. This was Albert Wilson. He was a drummer boy in the Civil War, and he was only 8 at this time. Sadly, he died on August 2nd, 1956, and he was 106 years old when he passed away.